Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the best-selling personal finance book by Robert Kiyosaki, is considered life-changing by millions of people all around the world. Kiyosaki was born into an average middle-class family. His real dad was a PhD holder, but despite that, he couldn't answer Kiyosaki's constant questions about why they didn't have enough money. On the other hand, Kiyosaki's best friend's dad was the city's richest entrepreneur. He had no college degree, but he owned immense wealth that his real dad could never even imagine. Through his book, Kiyosaki reveals 5 valuable money lessons that the rich pass on from generation to generation, while the poor remain poor, not knowing about them. 1. Make money work for you. When Kiyosaki asked his real dad why schools don't teach money, all his dad could say was that school wasn't meant to teach you about money. As Kiyosaki thought more and more about it, he understood that all school did was to prepare you to become an ideal employee who works hard all his life for big, rich corporations and retires poor. And that's why Kiyosaki has called his real dad the poor dad in his book, a representation of the common middle-class mentality that keeps you poor throughout your life, that instills in you the value of chasing money, the thought of working for money. Kiyosaki was only 9 years old, but he could still notice that they were poor. But his friend, Mike, was very rich. Therefore, he ran to Mike's dad, whom he calls the rich dad in his book. He begged him to teach him about money. But the rich dad didn't just want to give away the valuable lessons. He wanted Kiyosaki to really learn. So he hired him for just 10 cents a week. When Kiyosaki asked why he was paying him not even minimum wage, the rich dad gave him the most valuable lesson about money. He said, "Only the poor work for money. The wealthy make money work for them." Without the fear of losing his income, Kiyosaki experienced what it felt like to be free, to observe, to learn new things, and to acquire new skills. His rich dad made him search his surroundings for opportunities that would create income for him. And soon Kiyosaki got his first business idea. He used his old comics to start a library for the other kids in the neighborhood. The kids rented the comics for a 10-cent entry fee, and soon Kiyosaki started earning $9 a week. Kiyosaki considered this as the beginning of his journey toward becoming rich. He learned that you should not be in the rat race chasing money. Instead, you should turn opportunities into income streams that make money work for you. And from then on, there was no looking back. 2. Protecting money is more important than earning it. From his first success, Kiyosaki got extremely excited to take up any business ideas that came his way, no matter how risky it looked. This is when his rich dad understood that it was time to teach Kiyosaki his next lesson in money. He feared if Kiyosaki was not put on the right track, he could end up ruining everything he had created. His wise words to Kiyosaki at this point in time were, "Making money is easy, but so is losing it all." What he meant was that people should only take calculated risks within the limits of their risk-taking capability. To assess whether the rewards of a business idea are worth the risk it entails, Rich Dad recommended Kiyosaki enhance his financial education. And to date, Kiyosaki regards that as the best idea he has ever received. Through studying personal finance books, Kiyosaki finally realized why the rich remain forever rich. The biggest reason he found out was that the rich put their money in assets. What is an asset? Kiyosaki's definition of an asset is not the same as you will find in a textbook. According to him, it is the way you look at things or the way you use things that makes them assets or liabilities. Kiyosaki says that every financial transaction should be looked at through the lens of cash flow. Anything that brings cash in your pocket is an asset, while anything that takes money out of your pocket is a liability. If you borrow money to buy a house you live in, it is not an asset. The house you live in is a liability because you end up making debt payments, repairs and upkeep bills, utilities and taxes. However, if the same house is rented out, it creates an income stream, and that's what makes it an asset. You need to ensure that rent income is greater than all of your expenses, and whatever you have left is 100% money in your pocket, your profit. 3. Know your taxes. While Kiyosaki followed the first 2 rules to the T, his rich dad called him to his office and asked, "Do you work for the government?" Kiyosaki was confused. He had no government job, and he had worked for himself, so he said no, and his rich dad started laughing. He knew Kiyosaki needed his third lesson about money. He told him every person works for the government. What he meant was that every earning person gives a portion of his income to the government in taxes. In a nutshell, you are earning that much money for the government, making you an indirect government employee. But who wants to give away his hard-earned money to someone else? Most people don't, but they still end up paying large taxes because they don't plan their taxes. The biggest reason is the lack of knowledge of tax breaks. A salaried professional can't get any tax savings on the car he buys, but the business owner can if he uses the same car for work. The business owner can show depreciation on the car that reduces the profits and thereby reduces the taxes he pays. And if you borrow to buy the car, you can reduce the taxes even further because interest on debt is tax deductible too. This is only one example, but look at what this represents. Knowing how to minimize taxes is important for every individual. And on top of that, knowing which income source offers the lowest taxes is also crucial. If you have more passive income streams compared to ordinary or portfolio income, you will end up paying the lowest possible taxes. 4. Diversify your income streams. Having understood what assets were, Kiyosaki thought going all in with commercial real estate. He thought there was no better business than to buy more and more houses and put them on rent. This again made Rich Dad nervous. He knew Kiyosaki needed his fourth lesson in money. He told him, "Market rises and falls. You should not fall with it." Kiyosaki explains how important this advice is, not just for real estate investors, but for every person from every walk of life. He says that different assets behave differently under changing market scenarios. Similarly, job markets also change with the business cycle. So instead of sticking to just one job or one kind of investment, you should diversify. If you are working in a 9-to-5 job, start a side hustle along with it, so that when the job market shrinks, you have a fallback. If you are investing in real estate, also invest in safer assets such as gold, which perform better in falling markets. Citing the example of the 2008 housing bubble, Kiyosaki says, homeowners saw their wealth erode to zero in no time. However, those who owned safer assets still recovered from the financial crisis faster than others. 5. Keep learning to keep selling. One day, while having dinner, Kiyosaki's rich dad asked him about his day. Kiyosaki narrated how he spent his whole day looking after all his various businesses. Rich Dad was not impressed. He rephrased his question and specifically asked Kiyosaki about his learning of the day. Kiyosaki was caught off guard and had nothing to answer his dad's question. That day, his rich dad understood that he taught Kiyosaki everything, but he forgot to teach him the most important lesson. So he sat Kiyosaki down and told him the importance of learning. He said, "Learning is your first inventory. The more you know, the more you grow." He drew an analogy for Kiyosaki to understand better. Suppose you own a burger shop. You only sell burgers because that's all you know how to make. But this stops you from getting customers who want to eat pizza. If you can learn how to make pizza, you can add it to your menu and get more customers. But most people stop acquiring new skills the moment they get out of school. Not learning new skills means limiting yourself to only what you already know. According to Kiyosaki, every business owner should know how to get out of a business that is going to be outdated in the next 5 years and start acquiring skills for a business that will become fast-selling soon enough. And this is why most successful entrepreneurs are considered visionaries. One of the best examples of disruptive innovation in business is Amazon. By introducing online shopping and same-day delivery, Jeff Bezos changed the way people shop, making the traditional brick-and-mortar retailers obsolete. Similarly, in the current times, we are seeing a new kind of disruption happening right in front of our eyes. With the advent of ChatGPT and other AI platforms, a lot of manual jobs are on the verge of obsolescence, and those who don't see it coming will not be able to survive once AI penetrates thoroughly. However, those who know that it's already started can use such technology in their favor and still remain relevant in the industry. Subscribe for more personal finance videos, turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help this channel out. Thanks for watching.